Hello, and welcome to part 2 of Practicing the Art of Being Present, your key to living a life of love, joy, and prosperity. In part 1, we talked about how to turn your life into a sanctuary. We talked about why and the value of turning your life into a personal sanctuary. And today we're going to talk about how to create a power hour, how to plug into your source of power every day so you will have the courage, the resilience, and the power within you to create this life of love, joy, and prosperity. Before we go into today's work, I want to show you a clip from The View from a few years ago. It's a conversation with Jaron Lanier. Jaron Lanier is a computer scientist. He's more than a computer scientist. He is known as the father of virtual reality. And he's being interviewed on The View about his thoughts about the need to take a break from social media. And I think he's got some very important information to impart to you. And one other thing I'll tell you is that I got to know Jaron in the 90s when I had a cafe in Lower Manhattan, and he lived around the corner. He was a regular customer of mine, and he would come in frequently and to enjoy our food, and we enjoyed his company. And he's just a delightful man with tremendous insight, and he's a genius. And he is a big, beautiful, loving human being. And I think you're going to enjoy listening to what he has to say about social media. So take a look.
While you're watching us, you need to put the damn phone down and listen up, because our next guest has written an incredible book about how much it's wrecking our lives. Please welcome author of 10 Arguments for Deleting Your Social Media Accounts Right Now, Jaron Lanier. Jaron, the book lays out 10 really great ideas of how we can take care of ourselves, but you say that the media companies have one goal in mind, and that's to change our behavior. What does that mean?
Yeah, okay, so you know how these services are free, you log on to Facebook, it's free. So the reason it's free is that there's like somebody else off to the side who's paying, but it's not like when a TV ad, it's a different kind of ad. They're paying to modify your behavior because you're being constantly watched, and then what you see, the ads you see, the feed you get is constantly adjusted using techniques that have been established by scientific research for over a century to get you addicted and then to get you to change a little bit. And you know, the problem with that is that addiction has consequences. It makes people cranky, it makes them irritable. And when we talk about bullying, it's a side effect of this process. You know, so until the companies can change their business model to something else, this is going to keep on happening. And that doesn't mean the good stuff on social media isn't real. It is. But there's this other machine behind the scenes that is really doing a lot of damage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we talked earlier in Hot Topics about online bullying. Why is it that more hasn't been done to control or to get rid of some of this behavior online?
Yeah, you know, it's a funny thing. So I'm a Silicon Valley guy. I do companies. I love Silicon Valley. And all my friends there don't let their kids use the products that we make.
That's shocking.
Yeah. And you know, as a father, I'm trying to cut a middle ground because I don't want to create a rebellious kid. I want them to find their own lessons. But, you know, it really comes down to the stupid business model. You know, like as long as anytime two people connect, the only way we make money is if there's a third person off to the side, sometimes like a weird intelligence warfare unit reporting to Mr. Putin, but whoever it is, there's always somebody out there. There's always somebody out there trying to get into the middle of your business, and it makes you a little nervous, it makes you a little sad, it makes you anxious, it makes you insecure, but that's part of the game. See, every addict has that problem. Every single addict goes through that cycle. Whether it's a drug or gambling, that's always part of the deal. Yeah.
So what do we do?
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's what I'm asking people to do. I know a lot of people feel like they couldn't possibly quit, and I know a lot of people are addicted, and I know there's no place to go, and all your friends are there, and your family photos and all that. I realize I'm in a way asking for something hopeless, and yet all it takes is a small minority of the country to get off this thing, just to get some perspective, to open up the conversation. Look, we have a president who's addicted. I don't know if any of you knew him in the old days. I knew him before he had...
Yeah, we know him.
Yeah, he didn't used to be quite as insecure, quite as cranky, quite looking for a fight all the time. That's his addiction talking. All right. And so the thing is, until
What's he addicted to? Power?
Twitter.
he's addicted to Twitter.
And a lot of other things.
Well, he always was addicted to power. Power isn't the same kind of thing, because power isn't playing a deliberate game with you. See, behind the scenes at companies like Twitter and Facebook, there's actually computer programs playing a game with you to make you that way.
Let me ask you something. Is he addicted to lying also?
You know,
He seems to be addicted to that.
I'd say he's more addicted to lying than he used to be. I think he's always been a bit of a con man, let's
He's
say.
raised the ante.
He's always had a bit of that thing about him, but he didn't used to be this bad.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, like this is his addiction talking, and this is going to keep on happening until we can see. And you know, the other thing I want to say is, young people, they have to. The greatest gift that you can have for yourself is self-knowledge, and until you can at least experience life outside of the manipulation machine, you can't know yourself as well. So at least while you're young, take 6 months off this stuff, and then you can decide. I don't know you. I don't know what's best for you, but you have to know yourself.
She's freaking out.
I'm so sorry. 6 months is a very long time, and I believe that technology is killing me, and I think everything you're saying is 100% valid. But what do you say to someone like me? I mean, I met my husband on Twitter, so
there are good things about it.
The good things are totally real. Nobody would deny that. And see, this is what's so, it's like a sandwich of good and bad, but the thing is, we don't need the bad stuff. So, yeah, I'm asking you, it's a huge investment, 6 months to learn about yourself. I know, it's a lot, but, you know, all I can say is, I think if you do it, you'll really find it worth
You know,
it.
there are a lot of good
agree.
things,
Sorry.
but there are some bad things, and they happened in the last election with Facebook and Twitter and the interference from Russia, for example. What are we doing now to prevent that?
You know,
How do we
we're doing
safeguard?
squat to prevent it from happening. You know, and you know why? It's because as long as the whole system is run on this like manipulation in secret, it's like rolling out a red carpet to all the worst people in the world. You know, and honestly, a lot of the folks at the companies are good people. They're my friends, and they're doing their best to do little tiny changes, like we'll try to get rid of the fake people, but they can't.
You have to come back. It's that simple. You have to come back because it wasn't enough. Thanks to Jared Lanier, members of the audience. Honey, y'all are getting the book. I'm telling you.
Well, I'll let that speak for itself, but I think you get the reason why I'm so clear about my want for you to take a recess from social media. We're here on this journey to get to know ourselves better, to understand the meaning of life, and it's really hard with social media, so ingrained in that definition. So there's one of the experts, one of the inventors. Let's pay attention to what he has to say. So, enough said. Let's get on with today's coursework. I'm looking forward to it.